welcome back to the final episode of my Gargantua series. And as you can see here, I fixed the troubles I had with my mining rig. Basically what I did, I just, created the entire mining assembly in the VAB again, teleported it over here and replaced it because that clearly was some kind of bug, and yeah, I think that was in the margin of possibility to change that things. Okay, we have sucked this asteroid dry, so let's get to finding another one. First we have to undock this big thing here, and yeah, there's another E-class asteroid, so yeah. Let's just get over there and drain it as well. I've skipped a bit ahead for you, so some slight maneuver noting and adjusting to get a rendezvous. But in the end I found this thing here, and yeah, let's get onto it and suck some precious fuel into those big tanks. First we have to match our velocity, line up with the surface of the asteroid. And yeah, there we go. Some turning. You can probably already see a bit of the problems I have mentioned in my disclaimer. Video quality in this episode, unfortunately, could be a lot better. I've experimented with another decoder and, encoder, and unfortunately things did not turn out fine, and yeah, I forgot to switch it back for this recording session, and I only realized it after I was finished with the entire thing. So yeah, really sorry about that, but yeah, I can't change it, and so the entire finale of the Gargantua series is a bit choppy. You can see me here, rearranging all those action menus so that the fuel cells are active and I see what the drill is doing and so on, and also the remaining mass of the asteroid, just for fun. Okay, now with that we have filled her up, so you can see in the right hand corner the amounts of fuel I have already in my tanks. I can, get the refinery assembly back into the cargo bay. So we're doing this in parallel, so while one part is on its way towards the docking port, I also move the other one, so yeah. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, it worked. Okay, now that we've done that, time to close those cargo bays and let's get back to home, back to Kerbin, the planet that we've been away from for decades. Yeah, so I'm using the transfer window planner from MacJab, and yeah, it kind of makes a weird orbit as you can see here, but yeah. In the end, I had to adjust my orbit multiple times. I spent almost 3000 meters per second of delta V trying to get an encounter with Kerbin. But in the end, it came down to, an apoapse of, periapse of course, of 100 kilometers above the surface. You can see it over there. And after a few years of travel time, we are back in the sphere of influence of Kerbin. Yay! Okay, and also some big burns happening over here. This was supposed to be a beauty shot of Gargantua, but yeah, unfortunately that decoder, encoder, or whatever thingy messed it up. Or me with my incapability of using the right settings. Okay, anyhow, we are now burning hard towards, away from Kerbin, so we don't crash into it and we don't, fly by it, basically. So I had to rearrange fuel a lot of times because for some reason one of the nacelles drained fuel faster than the other. So in the end I had to switch fuel all the time during that, almost hour-long burn I did. Hour-long in real time, of course, because what you're seeing here is sped up multiple times in editing. Okay, we're already past our periapse, but I'm confident that we're going to make it. So we're still burning retrograde as quickly as we can. Well, quickly is relative with this big beast of a spaceship. You can see me here transferring fuel, so this thing stays, well, stable as it can. And yes, we have been captured around Kerbin. Our inclination is a bit off, but we can remedy that. We still have a lot of delta V left. This is quite the waste of fuel, but who cares? So setting up my normal burn so that I can get in the same plane of in the same plane as the moon is. Why am I doing that? Well, Kerbin and the moon are in the same plane, so if I'm the same plane as the moon, then my orbit will be a perfect 90-degree equatorial orbit. So in order to that, as you can see here, we're burning that fuel that is still left in the tanks. Well, it may not look much in the diagram on the left, but it's still way enough for this to do a circularization and plane change burn. The crew is ecstatic that they have returned home, so they can return to their loved ones. Do Kerbals love? Do they know that emotion? I'm not sure. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Okay, so what we're doing here is setting up an aerobraking maneuver, and here we are skipping through the atmosphere of Kerbin with the intention to slow ourselves down so we don't spend that much fuel for circularization. Heat effects heating up the Gargantua, and whoa! Some things are exploding. Yeah, those appear to be the big wings, which are very unsuited for that kind of maneuver. Yeah, you can see here in the menu that I have lost my wings, but that doesn't matter, they don't carry any fuel anymore and were for decorative purposes mainly. So yeah, the main bulk or hulk or carcass of the ship stays intact. That is good. Something exploded in the front. Well, the thing still flies, so yeah. And we're still sinking deeper into the bowels of the hot atmosphere. This is going to be a bit tricky. But I really hope that we're going to make it. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. So this was the more, well, exciting part of the aerobrake maneuver, and I decided to do an even closer one, because I thought, well, that ship is big enough. If a few things explode, what does it matter? Okay, and we are here on our second pass. The crew is still on board, mind you, so this is a bit of a risk, and yep, something exploded again. Ah, yeah, okay, those were bits in the cargo bay. And those were the cargo bays up front. This is interesting. Okay, so apparently those ramp bays are not really suited for aerobraking. Well, I can understand that stuff inside the cargo bays of the big ship explode, because basically, technically, those bays are not closed. They're just half closed and then make up a closed bay visually. But the ramps were closed up front, and, well, apparently those ramps have significantly lower heat tolerance than the regular cargo bay parts. Something to keep in mind for one of the next builds. But we are reducing our apoapse quite fine, and we are in an orbit that is manageable. So yeah, this is going to be one of the final burns that I'm going to do. Some more circularization so that I don't burn up in the atmosphere again. And yeah, so Gargantua has returned home. Not in one piece, but yeah, with all the science information and Kerbals that it has on board. So, time to get those valuable cargo back home. And for that I'm using this contraption. This is the Bonefetcher. Well, the name is basically, I don't know. I thought about, okay, you have to fetch something from space, what can you fetch, what are things that you can fetch, and I came up with bone. Not sure why, that was some kind of late night creative name thinking, whatever process. But in the end this is an SSTO with the capability to carry 16 Kerbals into orbit, or back from orbit. And it also has 4 Rapier engines, and here we can see it ascending from the runway. Interesting thing, I'm using only 2 air intakes, those ram air intakes up front. Oh no, I also use those 2 radial intakes. So 4 air intakes, yeah, I forgot. I thought I only had 2 air intakes and it still was capable of reaching high altitudes, but I have 4, so yeah. Never mind. A view from the cockpit, you can see the pilot is alone, so we have enough space for crew. Which we have anyway, but yeah. I just wanted to make sure. So we're heading up into the upper parts of the atmosphere. And once we've done that, we're going to level out, pick up our speed, so we will reach about 1200 something meters per second at around 15,000 meters. And then, slowly but steadily, the thrust of the air-breathing engines will decline and we switch to the closed cycle liquid fuel and oxidizer method of the Rapier engine. And then punch ourselves out of the atmosphere, which we have done here, so we're coasting to the apoapse. You can see the cockpit glowing a bit hot, but that doesn't matter, we're still fine. So circularizing, and we still have, after circularizing, we still have about 500 meters per second or something like that left. You can see me trying to already get a rendezvous, but that won't be possible yet. So solar panels deployed, so we have power. Unfortunately those Rapier engines don't produce any, so yeah. And here we go, setting up our rendezvous. And once we've done that, which we're going to do here, boom. And once we've done that, we will going to pick up the crew and head back home to Kerbin. So I'm setting my Kerbal alarm clock that I won't miss the rendezvous. You can already see Gargantua approaching in the back. Curious, why is this askew? You can see the parts a bit misaligned for some reason. I think one of the benefits of time acceleration, so to speak. Okay, we're still fine, everything's still connected. And there's Gargantua in the back. So we're going to head over there and pick up the crew. So, funny thing, I'm trying to build a single stage to everywhere kind of thing. And I keep failing, so for some reason I can't manage to put enough fuel or whatever on it, so once I reach orbit, I'm kind of stuck. So the goal would be to create a spaceplane that can take off from Kerbin, get to Minmus, refuel there, and then basically have enough Delta V to fly anywhere in the known solar system. But that's still a task that I am not able to complete yet. We're already closed in of Gargantua, and they're trying to dock at one of the cockpit modules. You can see the docking port opening over here. And we're going to skip ahead a bit. Yeah, funny thing, I kind of miscalculated how big the spaceplane would be, or rather how small the space to maneuver would be. So basically one of the wing parts or one of the hull parts would always bang against one of the parts of Gargantua, so I decided to use another docking port. Yep. Thankfully those cargo bays in the front exploded, and now I can use the regular docking port of one of the refinery modules. Yay! And here we go. Dock. We have docked with the big mothership, and now it's time to transfer those Kerbals to the spaceplane. And once we've done that, we also replenish our RCS fuel, which you have noticed before docking that is completely depleted. I basically coasted to the docking port hoping that it would fit, and it did. So sun's coming up and plane's going down. Look at that, beautiful! The moon, the sun and the space plane all in one picture. Which is nice. So let's hope that none of the viable parts of this plane explode during descent. It should be able to make re-entry from lower Kerbin orbit without a problem. But I'm still basking in the magnificence of this graphics. My trajectory mod tells me that we're going to land almost precisely on the runway. I'm still kind of adjusting my angle of attack so that that red crosshair will move about a bit. We're at the moment headed towards the water, which is a bit too far in my opinion. Okay, what exploded now? Okay, it was one of the RCS modules. Not sure why, because the other one is fine, but yeah. And my flying is letting us down here because I thought I make some kind of what the space shuttle does, those turns it does to slow down a bit more. And in the end we came into a dangerous spin. So yeah, after decades of traveling, after all those perils that crew survived, they were in danger of just crashing on their way back to the planet. But no, we can't let that happen now, can we? Yeah. After a bit of a scare, we are back on track home. So you can see the spaceport in the back. Mountains! Beautiful mountains, I really like those mountains. And yeah, the plane is heading down. Down, 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 down. This is Bonefetcher 1 on approach to KSC runway. We are having valuable cargo on board, 16 tired and exhausted Kerbals from Gargantua. Please respond. Well, no reply there, but that does only mean that we can land now, can we? Well, provided we don't crash again. Okay, here's the runway. We're flying towards it. Okay, gear is down. I just remembered I forgot to use some braking chutes or aerobrakes or whatever. So let's just hope that we don't hit the runway too late. Okay, well, that was a bit too much flaring. Come on, land. Land. There we go, and braking. Braking, 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 braking. Come on, brake. Ah. Okay, let's punch through again and let's approach the runway from the other side. We still get enough fuel for that. Okay, a slight turn. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, I might have miscalculated my turning radius. I really hope I can pull up quick enough. And ouch! Okay, crew compartments are intact, Kerbals are alive. I call it a successful landing. Kind of. Okay, all Kerbals have survived, so we can recover them, and now they're back on terra firma. And we also can recover that rest of the bone fetcher. Okay, back in orbit. It is now time to say goodbye. Because as mighty as Gargantua may have been, and as cool as may she have looked, she was also quite unwilling and very, very hard to control, and it really put a lot of strain on my computer resources. So yeah, it's time to put this thing out to pasture. So yeah, let's make it a spectacle. Let's get her down in style. And in order to do that, we're going to head into the atmosphere again. Okay, so, and for the most possible destruction effect, I am extending all the panels that I have. And I'm also aiming for land. So I really want to make this thing crash on land. One more beauty shot of Gargantua with the moon and the sun, with the destroyed cargo base up front. And here we go, this is looking good. We're still using a bit of fuel so we can adjust our landing, because this may point to the easternmost coast of that continent, but due to Kerbin rotating and that aerobraking stuff, we're probably going to land more inland. Okay, in a moment of truth, Gargantua, after her decades of service, after delivering a cool rover to Draz, after visiting Plock and Charon, the binary planet system on the outer skirts of the solar system, it is time to lay to rest. And it won't rest silently, this is going to rest with a bang. But first we have to get deeper into the atmosphere. Thermal effects already taking place. Okay, what is going to die first? Solar panels, radiators, or antenna? Let's see. Craft is heating up a lot. Radiators already getting red. And what are we going to lose first? Which part is going to give? Well, it's been fun with this thing, but I really don't want to revisit it again because it's so much of a hassle to fly and control. And I'm probably going to be able to construct something as effective as this in regards... Oh, there we go! The thermal panels have gone. As more or less effective as this, but effective in regards to amount of delta V, but a little less parts, because this had about 1,000 parts and a few thousand tons, and here we go, we are going to explode now. The fireworks are beginning. And we're still flying. Whoa, I almost said stable. No, we don't. Okay, this is bending a lot. Some can be bent, others can be broken. Who remembers that quote? This is looking really weird now. And... boom! Okay, it has now burst up into the atmosphere, and the main parts still survive. Look at that, one of the nacelles dropped off. The front was destroyed, but the main ship is still flying. Okay, the crew modules also died, and boom! So much for Gargantua! May she rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.